Hello students, today's agenda is to check homework. We're going to go over some rigid transformations and you will be able to do 9.3. I think I'm going to divide this video into two sections. So for the first video you will see translations and reflection, and then the second part or the second video will be on rotation. So what does that mean? Well, today students will be able to sketch rigid transformations on a grid, and what that means is that we're going to be manipulating some points on a graph, and so rigid means it's a still figure, it won't change. So if we start with a trapezoid, the new figure will still be exactly the same. It's just going to be in a different position, or you'll see. And so what we're going to be doing is, for example, we're going to be translating. Translating is just that we might have a figure, and translating just means that it's going to move to different directions depending on what they tell you to do. So that's translate. We also have reflection, and usually they'll give you the line of symmetry. So it just means that you're gonna flip the figure across that line. Okay, so if the line is vertical, your new figure, if this is the original, the new figure will be in here, but you can notice that the shape of the figure doesn't change. Sometimes the line of reflection is going to be horizontal, so if the original is like this and the line is like this, then it's going to reflect by flipping. See? I told my students like a tortilla. You flip it so that it won't burn on one side. Sorry about the sun. Okay, so hopefully it won't bother us too much. So let's start with translations, okay? And so I'm going to ask you that you please pause the video so that you can take a minute to copy this shape. And so it says translate the following figure as described by +2, +2. What this means is that you're going to be adding 2 on X for every single point, and that you're going to add 2 on Y for every single point. And at this point, we're not going to talk about the specific coordinates on the plane, but that's what we're going to be doing for everyone. Okay, so if we start with this point, add 2 on X. Remember that X is always to the left or to the right. So basically the first is you're gonna, since it's positive, you're gonna go to the right, and since this is positive also, you're going to go up. Okay, so 2 spaces to the right, 2 spaces up. This point right here is now over there. Now I'm going to use a different color, and so I'm going to now translate this point as well. By translating each of its vertices, I'm going to translate the whole picture or the whole figure. So again, 2 to the right, 2 up. Let me use green for this one. So 2 to the right, 2 up. And now you can start seeing the shape, right? So again, remember that rigid means that it will not change. And let me do orange for the last one. So 2 to the right, 2 up. So it's right on top of that green right there. And now I'm able to trace my, since it says that we're going to sketch, it's okay if you just do it freehand. But if you want to be a little bit more perfect, you can most definitely use a ruler. Okay. And so that will be, if you notice, they're supposed to be exactly the same, but it's just in a new place. And that is translate. It looks It's like a replica. You're not even flipping it, you're just moving it from one place to the other. Okay? Now, let's do the same figure. Remember that if you need some more time, definitely pause the video so that you can go ahead and again translate the figure. Sorry that I'm missing some letters in here. Translate the following figure as described by -2, -3. Again, you're subtracting 2 on X and then subtracting 3 on Y. So we're gonna do the same thing. The first point, you subtract 2 on X. Remember that X is to the side. So now you're going to go left, and because Y is negative, you're going to go down. So 2 left, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3. One point that I want to mention is that some people start counting in here. 1, 2, and no, it's you don't count where you start. It's 1, 2, and you don't count for the 3. You don't count in there. You count 1, 2, 3. Okay, negative and negative. So that's my new point. For this one, 2 to the left, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 down. And then we have 1, 2 to the left, 1, 2, 3 down. And finally, I like to use different colors so that I can see what's going on. 1, 2 to the left, 1, 2, 3 down. So this point is right here. The blue one is over here now. This is the pink one and the green one. Okay, so again, now we're ready to sketch our new figure. That it looks exactly the same. That's why it's called rigid, because it doesn't change its form. Okay, so it looks exactly the same, but now in a new place. Somebody said, oh, it's like skating. It's me, but now I'm here. Okay. Okay, let's try another one. So now it says, translate the following figure as described by 0, -6. So what this means is that because you're moving 0 spaces, on X you don't move at all. And on Y, you're gonna go down 6 spaces. Okay, that's what it means. And so the first point, you're just going to go down because you don't move left or right. So it's going to be 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. Okay. Then we're going to do the pink point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we don't count where we start. Okay. We don't count that point. It's just the next one. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally, our orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's our figure. Translated by 0 on X and -6 on Y. And so we're ready to sketch our figure. Okay, more or less, this is a little curved and this one as well. Sorry about that. But again, if you want to use a straight edge and make it a little bit more perfect, that's fine. So again, you just translated the figure down. Okay. Okay, so now let's do some reflections. Okay, so for the reflections, I asked my students, so what does the word reflect remind you of? And they usually say a mirror. And so reflection is the noun, reflect is the verb. Reflect the figure across the given line. And so this is my line of symmetry. And for this one, I'm just going to be using two different colors to make it a little easier, just specifically with this figure. But you can use different ones if you want to. Or let me use 4 different colors. So the first one is this point. For the symmetry, all you have to do is count how many spaces away from the line that point is, and then you count on the opposite side of that line. So in here we have 1, 2. So I'm going to count 1, 2, and that's where I'm going to put my point. Then I'm going to use pink for this one. So again, how many spaces away is this point from the line? And it's 1, 2, 3, 3 spaces. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 spaces on the other side. The next one, it's 1, 2 spaces. So it's going to be 1, 2 spaces. And finally, this is, and again, it's from the line, okay? Not from other points, but from the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So from the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that I have all 4 points, I'm ready to sketch the graph. And so I have this here, kind of like an arrow pointing away from the line. So I'm going to draw the arrow pointing away from the line, but on the other direction. And I have this other bigger arrow and thinner. Oh, I think I need a straight edge for this one. Okay, so as you can see, it's supposed to be exactly the same figure, but now it's flipped. Okay, that's all is happening in the reflection. You're flipping the figure on the other side of the symmetry line. Okay, so take a minute to copy it, maybe pause the video. And now try this one. So it says reflect the figure across the given line. Again, we have a line, but now the line is horizontal. And so let's start with, it doesn't matter which color you use, but in here, it's 1 space away from the line of symmetry. So it's going to be 1 space away from the line of symmetry. This is 1, 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2. And again, you count from the line of symmetry, okay? This point right here is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from the line. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3 spaces away from the line. And you can see this section right here already. And the last point is 1, 2 spaces. So you're going to go 1, 2 spaces. And you're ready to sketch your figure. So something like that. Again, as you can see, the figure didn't change. And basically, if it wasn't because of the colors that I used for the points, you wouldn't see that this point is not this one, because they look exactly the same, right? But this point is right here. And you can notice that because of the colors that I used. Okay, there you go. So it's an exact replica, but it's supposed to be flipped again, not noticeable specifically with this figure. Okay, let's try another one. And this next one is going to be a little bit tricky. So it says, reflect the figure across the given line. And as you can see, part of one section is on one side of the mirror and part of the figure is on the other side of the mirror. So basically what it's saying is that this little point is going to reflect on this side, and these 2 points are going to reflect on the other side, on the left. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the colors. And I'm going to start with this point right here. And so that is same thing. We're going to do exactly the same. It doesn't matter if it's half in here and half in here. We're going to count from the line 1, 2. And so we're going to go on the other side 1, 2. And draw that dot. Okay, then we are going to do the other point, and that point is 1 space away, so it's going to be right here. Hopefully it won't get confusing. And the third point is right here, which is 1, 2 spaces, so 1, 2 spaces. What I recommend at this point is that you kind of sketch that section so that you know what you're doing. The last point is this point right here, right? Because we already did these 3 points. So the last one is right here, right where the new pink is. And so it's going to go where the old pink was. And that point connects to the blue and the green one. So that point is going to connect to the blue and the green one. Okay, so you can even do it with this color so that you don't lose it. Okay, so it's gonna look like that. They're gonna overlap. I guess the corner or that section is gonna overlap on top of this part, and then yeah, they're gonna be on top of each other. So that's the new reflected figure. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop right here. In case you only need rotation, you can go to the next video. And you will be able, with this part, you will be able to do only the front of 9.3, but come back for the second part of 9.3 so that you can do the back of the assignment. Bye-bye.